Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
I must ask you a question this afternoon, Jason.
Yes.
First, I want to see you drink with
I want to see
that.
No, you're good.
Here's my question for you. Are you ready? And this question goes out to everyone here. It's so good to see everybody here today. Are you ready for another
football? Yes.
Are you ready for
Yes, I am ready for football.
Well, you wish, right? Baseball. Are you ready for another week of quarantine?
I don't think I have any choice in the matter, do I?
Well, with that mustache, it seems like you have
Oh,
some authority.
I'm ready. I am ready.
This is a Monday, you guys.
Happy Monday.
Who's feeling it? Are you feeling Monday? Anybody?
Peggy, wow, we got a big crowd today.
I know, this is great.
Peggy,
hello,
Becky,
Ian, Beth, Mona,
Rachel,
Jenna.
Beth, good to see you all here.
Thanks for being here.
It's a beautiful day outside today, at least where we are. That helps a little bit. Obviously, we got news yesterday that the mandate to stay home and social distance continues for another month. That's not necessarily surprising, but it is a little bit of a gut punch, I think, right?
Anybody relate to that? I mean, we all kind of knew it wasn't possible by Easter, but I think there was a little bit of a well, maybe the numbers will look better. And
they did say that the what do they call it? The high that will reach the high of the death rate by peak. Easter. That's the peak. Yes, that's a possibility. So, that is what it is. But I think what it does is it gives us all some angst and feelings of being out of control. Like it just, I think that's the biggest thing through this entire process is struggling with not knowing, right? Not knowing how long it'll last, how this will affect things, how quickly we'll recover, all of that stuff. I do want to start out just reminding everyone that we will get through this.
Yeah.
This is feels like forever, but it's a brief window of time. There's a lot of people working really hard on this. What we've done so far, all of the effort we've put in has been helping. I think that's what is encouraging of we don't want to go back to normal too quickly and then have all this come back and then all this effort that we've all put in go to waste. So hopefully this is being conservative, and I think it is, but I think that's the right play right now. So where do we go from here? I mean, we're here, you're here. We're trying to bring some light into this equation. And I wanted to start off with a little bit of a story.
I brought Whimsy.
Yeah, how many of these do you got?
Jason came home with a bouquet of flowers when he went out for some groceries last week, and I divided them into 5 things because I'm we need them in multiple jars around the house. So
and you're there all in one place.
Yes, I'm just adding a little whimsy to our set, that. But you can't.
Not too close to the computer. That probably wouldn't be.
You know it's there now that you know it's there.
So I wanted to share a little story because some of this idea of feeling cooped up definitely feels familiar to us for something that we went through a while ago. So let me pull up my screen here. Let's see. Let me get this out of the way. Get this bigger, hopefully. Whoops. All right. There we go. Okay. So right when our youngest daughter, Virginia, was born back in, I'm going to scoot this over here, Kim.
Yeah.
So I can tell this story real quick. When our youngest daughter, Virginia, was born a few years ago, she's 6 now. It was right in the middle of Christmas and right before Christmas. And it was a really, really, really cold Wisconsin winter. And we were all stuck inside, quarantined, if you will, just the 5 of us, because we had this little baby, little kids, and we couldn't even go outside or we'd get frostbite. So we were pretty much cooped up in this house. And it got to around end of February, and we were starting to get a little antsy and squirrely and freaking out a little bit. And so I was desperate. I would have given anything to be on a beach somewhere with the kids where they could, build sand castles and run on the beach and run and run and run forever. But that wasn't in the cards. So what we opted for was going out to eat. Now, nowadays, that would be glorious to go out to eat. But anytime you have kids 3 and under, or 3, 5 and under, you're going to have challenges going out to eat. It's not a picnic. That's how desperate we were. So it was an idea I had that we go out to eat, and I saw it was kind of my job to get the kids ready for public viewing. So I called them together, and my son Ben had a little purple smudge under his nose because he had been in the corner smelling markers. And so Kim noticed, and you want to say what your comment was when you saw that?
Yeah, it was like, oh my gosh, that is the cutest little thing. Why don't parents just draw on their children, like draw mustaches on their children?
Yeah,
I thought that was a very good idea.
She says this like total matter of fact, right? As if parents over millennia have been asking this question. And I basically said, I don't know, I guess because of what other people would say. And it occurred to me as soon as I said that, what I had to do. So I said, Lucy, go get me that purple marker over there. And I brought it over, and I brought my son in front of me, and I knelt down and I drew this mustache on my boy. And he didn't even realize what I had done. He was 3, 3 or 4, something like that. And
literally 2, because Rhodes was 4. They're 2 years apart. So
he was 17 years old at the time, as this picture shows.
I'm the fact checker here. They were 2 years apart. Yeah.
Fake news. So I'm like, all right, let's go out. Let's go out to lunch. And we did. Now I had the fear that, DCFS would come and they'd see us and they'd be like, you parents are not fit for this job. We need to get these kids out of here into a safer home. But it was sort of the opposite. We go to the restaurant and Ben is busy eating his chocolate chip pancakes, playing with his Star Wars guys. Every person we encountered had a smile on their face. The DCFS didn't come and take us away, but it was sort of the opposite, where everyone was happy. Everyone was smiling. The waiter, the hostess, the other diners, the bus boy. And I learned 2 things that day, 2 important lessons. First one is that if you are a parent with kids and you're not taking advantage of drawing on them regularly, you are missing out. All right. I recommend Crayola, but if you want to do Sharpie, you do you. More importantly, I realized that if sometimes we get so caught up in where we don't have control and we feel like we're stuck, that sometimes these little things that we do can have a huge impact and can make all of the difference in the world. And this one little silly, stupid thing that I did kind of started a chain reaction. So later, when my book Penguins Can't Fly came out, we went on book tour and we created a station so that parents could draw mustaches on their kids. And they did. They had so hilarious to see people do this and have fun with it. And it brought a little light into this dark time. And I think that's a little bit where we are right now. So the lesson, again, this was just the 5 of us. It was a family. We were struggling, having a hard time, but we were kind of snipping at each other. And I don't think anyone can relate to that. No, especially not now, right? So what is a bonus of this time we're all going through is we're all going through it. You don't have to feel alone, which is why this show exists, is to help you come here, especially the ones who are here live right now. Those of you who are even watching on replay, to just feel like you're not alone, because we're not. But it's really easy to feel like you're sort of out of control, you're paralyzed, because I think that's the best way to describe it. Yeah. Paralyzed. Like, right. What am I supposed to do? And sometimes it might be like at a job where you can't change the budget, you can't change the regulations, you can't change your boss's decision, and you feel like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. But we're here to tell you today that there are things in your control. But before we get to some of those ideas, I thought would be appropriate to kind of share kind of how we really feel about this. So if you watched us last Friday, you saw a really honest show. We talked about faith. We brought on our friend John, and he had some really interesting things to bring up. And for those of you who followed us for a long time, we're not usually one to evangelize and tell people what we believe, because we're really open to a lot of people's beliefs and we're respectful of where people are coming from. And we will remain that way. But at the same time, it's sort of selfish to not share with you things that work for us from our experience, and your mileage may vary. But one of the things that really drives us, I think, is a quote from, it's often attributed to St. Francis, but I've heard that he didn't actually say this. And I don't know who said it, but it doesn't even matter, because it's a good line, which is, preach the gospel always, and if necessary, use words. And so that's what we try to do. We try to live out our faith in our actions, because those go farther than anything else. But sometimes there's a time for words, and that's right now, I think, because a lot of people are really scared and worried and nervous and afraid. And so I just want to share the message to just be calm, take a deep breath, and remember that panic is a choice. We have a feeling of panic, but what we do with it is a choice. And to encourage people who have faith to make sure you come back to prayer, to rely on God and a higher power. If you don't have faith, I encourage you, like what John said last Friday was perfect, of just like, are you there, God? Give me a sign that you're here. He is listening to all of us. He is here in all of this. And I think that's one of the most important things to keep in mind, is that he's there. He's in this. He's bringing good things out of this, even though there's a lot of dark times. I was reminded of one of the most popular, famous Psalms this morning, Psalm 23. If you're new to faith or the Bible, or haven't dusted one off in a while, that's a good one to start, the Psalms, because there's a lot of just like, why are you doing this, God? And what am I supposed to do with these feelings? But right. Psalm 23, talks about even though I walk in the valley of darkness, I fear no evil, for you are with me. And I don't know about you, but I feel like we're walking through a valley of darkness right now, but I don't have a lot of fear. I have moments, right? Everyone has moments, but like, this is temporary. This is a temporary thing. So I just want to share a couple other thoughts that hopefully will be encouraging to you. One of them comes from, let's see, there's some Proverbs. Oh yeah, Proverbs 1, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And I like that one a lot too, because I think that's where we are now, is we're trying to get all of the information from experts and social media and Twitter and scientists, and we're trying to guess what's going to happen. And we don't know. Like, even the experts don't know. It was said, like, the experts think that maybe by Easter we'll hit the peak, but maybe it'll be sooner. Maybe it'll be less. Maybe some new thing will come out that'll completely change everything. We don't know, but we believe that the Lord does, and that's where we need to start in all of this. Mm-hmm. So I've been rambling, but if there's anything you want to share. I think another one this week, those of you who subscribe to our Insider, I wrote about nightlights and how when we were little kids, we were afraid of the dark. And our parents would say, there's no reason to be afraid of the dark. It's just your imagination. And it's true. Like, we look back on it, like the scary tree that was outside your window that turned into a T-Rex really was your imagination. And I think that's where a lot of our fear is coming from right now, is our imagination working out worst case scenarios of us living in a van down by the river, or just the terrible things, right? And as I said weeks ago, yes, there are terrible things. There is real pain, but the opportunities and the examples of positivity and good things to be excited about are also there and are also real. So when I think about this idea of the nightlight, which was worked wonders when you're a little kid. I think of another verse that said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. And I think of God as like the world's biggest nightlight, right? That we follow that and we'll be okay. So that's that to me, that when all of the uncertainty, that's what it comes down to first. Like there's things we can do, and that's what I want to get to next. But the first thing is to admit we don't know. We don't know like anything, but we know who does. We know who's bigger than all of the problems. And we know the one who's working to bring good things out of this.
There's some comments I'm kind of seeing through the chat a little bit of real fears of friends or family members who are sick, who have pre-existing conditions. Some of the really valid fear that is legitimate.
Sure.
So it's not all imaginary.
No, it's not.
Right.
But I think there's enough things to be worried about that are real than to add more anxiety to our hearts and to our souls by imagining worst case scenarios. And I think that's the point. And it's that's why I think the Psalms are a really good thing to go back to, because it's a good place where the people who wrote the Psalms a lot of times were venting to God and were sharing their heart and struggling with pain and the fear. But there's always hope. There's hope.
I think, something that happens when we're exposing ourselves to a little too much media and social media is that we start to really focus on all the stuff you can't control, right? So like, yes, hospitals and healthcare staff are stressed, right? And yes, they are getting overloaded by the second, and like all these realities that then you start like, it starts getting heavier and heavier and heavier, and you start all the grief, right? And I think the more we think about those, although it's good not to be in denial, right? And bring all that to prayer, the more we focus on it, the heavier and the less control we have over the little things. So I think that's what you wanted to share a little bit next is what can we control? We can't like provide ventilators for hospitals right now. I can't, like someone's out there doing that.
I've got 5 in the garage, but I don't, I'm hoarding them.
Although so many people have been making masks. And so it is so wonderful to see people finding what they can do.
Yeah.
If you falls under that.
If you want your faith uplifted, be on the lookout for the good stories, the good things, the people that are helping. And most importantly, figure out how to help yourself. But let's talk about not help yourself like, but you know what I mean? Like help, be a helper.
Right.
So, okay. We talked, I've been reading a lot of stuff about this. Just breathing, giving yourself time to like deep breath, breathe out, spend time doing that. That brings your cortisol levels down, brings you relaxed. Again, turn off the media. I think we're at a point where I've heard the hashtag fear porn. And I've heard the one I thought of, actually, I don't know, this might be a thing too, but I thought of this is that right now the media is almost like mental terrorism.
Yeah.
It's frightening us because it's using the most sensationalist headlines in order to get clicks, because when they get clicks and they get views, that's how they get money. And so there's not as much like just by the book actual reporting, there's sensationalism added to it, and it's
talk about adultitis.
The more I see it, the more I think this is just terrorism. This is inflicting terrorism on us. And when you hear the actual doctors and the scientists speaking, they're not nearly as Dr. Fauci, and they're not nearly as alarmist. They're concerned, and they've put forth their opinions, but their words are a lot different than the stuff that you hear in the media. So turn that off. That's one thing you can do. First thing is your attitude. You are in control of your attitude. You are in control of whether you are choosing to panic or not. You are in control of if you want to look at the good things or the bad things. They're both there. Which one are you choosing to look at, right? Another thing you're in control of is eating healthy. That's one of the things that we've seen here is one of the best things you can do is to improve your immune system to help yourself fight off not only this thing, but in general, right? So you have control of
which
what you're eating.
Completely connects to your energy.
Exactly.
Right.
You have control over your exercise. Might not be able to go to the gym right now, but you can take a walk. You can do push-ups. You can do jumping jacks. There's lots of things you can do to get your energy up through exercise.
A client of ours, Mike Bauger, is doing push-ups and sit-ups with his son at the top of every hour. So they're doing different things in their house. I think it's college-age son, but at the top of every hour, they do like, I don't know how many, maybe it's getting more by the day, but they do sit-ups and push-ups every hour, which is pretty sweet.
The other thing you can control is reaching out to others. Calling a friend, calling a neighbor to see if they need some groceries or something, some help. When we're focused on our own fears and own problems, usually we're in our own little bubble. And one of the best ways to get out of that bubble is to look around at who else needs help. And it doesn't, I wish I could whittle ventilator machines. I can't, but there's things, we're doing this show. We're trying to provide encouragement to people. I'm so inspired by people using their talents in new and creative ways to help their fellow man, their fellow neighbor. Some of the house concerts that are going on have been so uplifting to me. So think about what do you have? That was something we just posted in the league today.
Yeah.
That the Escape Adulthood League, escapeadulthood.me. If you're not a member, you should be. It's totally free. But we have a whole community of people with superpowers. And so we put up a post today asking, like, what is something you can offer? What is a tool that you have, or a resource you have, or a talent or a service? And put it out there, because there's other people that might say, hey, I could use that, or I need that help. So figure out a way that you can reach out to others. Another thing we have control of, this is a hard one, is not being judgmental. It's hard because people deal with stress and anxiety in different ways. And some people maybe use humor that maybe comes off tone deaf, or like they don't care. Some people act like it's not that big of a deal. Some people get angry. Some people, this is our first time doing this. Grieving. We all stink at this.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I keep reading about, and that it resonates, is that everybody is going through the different stages of grief, and we're all at different stages, and we're grieving different things.
Yeah.
There's a collective grief that is like a lot of common denominators, but we all have individual things we're grieving with, what we're losing out on and what we're missing right now.
I think we're going to do a show on that coming up here pretty soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so, be kind to one another. Like I said, we all stink at this. We've never done this before.
Right.
I'm impressed by how quick learners we are and how good we're doing amidst the circumstances, but we need to be kind to one another. And the last thing I'll add is, when you have this sort of like, okay, 2 weeks, we can do 2 weeks.
Right.
Will it be okay after that? Will it be okay by Easter? It's one thing, but when it's like, okay, it's going to be a month for sure. 30 days is a big chunk of time, and in a good way. Like 30 days is enough time to learn a new skill, you could learn a language, at least start in 30 days. You could start so many different things and learn so many skills. Like, what are you going to do to take advantage of this opportunity? Because yes, it is an opportunity. It's scary, and we don't know what's going to happen, but it's an opportunity. There's an opportunity here for you. You can emerge out of this. Like, I am 100% convinced that our country and our world is going to come out of this with all new skills, all new systems, all new ways to fight diseases, the next pandemic, new ways of working at home. We are learning new skills so fast right now that it is mind-boggling that once we get back to normal, it's going to be great. But what are you doing personally? What is the skill you've always wanted to learn? What is something you can add to your repertoire? I love, Scott Adams calls it a talent stack, right? You add different things. So in my case, I'm a speaker, I'm an artist, I'm an author. Probably not the best of any of, well, I know I'm not the best of any of those one things, but that mixed together is really kind of unique, right? It kind of makes makes me stand out. And so then when you can add another talent stack to that, you're going to be much more valuable as an employee, as a citizen, as a superhero coming out of this, if you take this opportunity to add some sort of skill to your
Tara
to
here.
talent stack.
Hi, Tara. She says, I'm learning more about digital marketing. So for her business, I'm sure that's going to be a huge asset going forward.
Yeah.
Right? So I'd love to hear like what you guys have already been learning. I think, 2 weeks ago when we were starting to really wrap our brain around this, we shared a podcast about being at home with your kids, and what the big emphasis that they were talking about was the gift of time, and to not like miss that gift, not to miss the opportunity in this time. It could just be simple new routines with those in your household that then maybe carry over into, this post quarantine timeframe. But I think that there are so many opportunities that this gift of time gives us right now that we don't want to miss that.
Well, one of the things that with us starting the show is we're learning different pieces of technology. For the longest time, I've had clients that want me to do webinars, and I've been like, I don't want to do webinars. I think they're dumb. I don't want to, I don't, it doesn't fit my style, blah, blah, blah. And then this opportunity has come up, and this Thursday, right? This Thursday, we're doing a webinar for a potential client in California. There'll be 500 people that'll be watching, and we're going to do it like this, like a show. And I've been so like, why can't you do a webinar? Like, why does it have to be just one person as a talking head? Why can't we do this and share some of these things that we've been talking about? And I'm actually kind of excited about it. And if this actually works, this is something that we can offer not only now, but going forward to different organizations and things like that.
And provide value without getting on an airplane.
Exactly.
Which is a nice thing.
So again, that never would have happened if it wasn't for this. So I've said this, I'm going to say this a million times so it gets burned in your head. What are you doing now? What are you going to do in these next 30 days now that will change your life in such a way that 5 years from now, when you look back on this, you'll say, oh my gosh, if it wasn't for that coronavirus thing, this never would have happened. It's totally, I can't believe it. And I want you to have that moment. I don't want you to get back to normal and then be like, nothing was gained out of it, right? So take advantage of this time. All right. Does anyone have any? I'm seeing some of the comments here. Angela says she's learning about providing virtual tutoring for college students who had to go online.
Oh, that's cool.
I've been hearing a lot about that.
I know.
That's a big thing where people are learning new skills with this technology and how to teach people. We did that with piano lessons. We moved that online.
Now.
Set up the little camera, and
it's working really good. It's like kind of mind blowing. I think there's gonna be a lot of things that maybe don't go back the other way. I mean, we've been watching Mass on Sunday over online, and the priest, we're like watching this priest that we love that's up in Duluth, Minnesota, and it's kind of cool to be like, hey, it's kind of neat to be in his congregation. Right? Like there's different things you're like, I love hearing him preach. I hope he continues this even after this is over, So there's cool opportunities happening left and right.
It's pretty cool. I don't know if anyone saw the it was an Italian priest that did some sort of a thing on Facebook Live and didn't realize that the filters were on, and so he's speaking in Italian, doing his churchy things, and then he's got like all of a sudden this big beard and these funny sunglasses, and it's just like filtering through.
We'll put the link in the show notes on the league. But there's one where there's like these dumbbells that are like going up and down as if he was like lifting weights. These filters are something else.
So it was pure hilarity. So
I'm sure he was devastated.
Yeah,
but it's good stuff. You got to laugh at that stuff at this point.
Yeah, we need good news. So
speaking of that, tomorrow's show, you do not want to miss this. Oh my goodness, we are so blessed. We have an amazing guest, and can we tell them what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, she is an expert at the power of laughter and humor for our health. So she is a international speaker. Her name's Karen Buxman, and this is her thing.
Expertise as a nurse,
yes,
as well. So that's very
therapeutic humor, and so she's going to be sharing with us some real tools going into April Fool's Day this week. We have such an opportunity to have a little fun, and I think she's going to give us a lot of inspiration to do that. So that's going to be great.
So this is we have a big crowd here today. And I wanted to let everyone know that we're continually tinkering and experimenting here. What we're trying to do is have a little bit more control over notifications, because people that sign up on Crowdcast don't always get their notifications when they're supposed to. So if you are an insider, if you are one of our newsletter subscribers, today we sent out an email to everyone inviting you to sign up to have notifications sent to you when we go live, and then that will also have a link to the previous day's show, so that you'll be able to see and keep up on this. We don't want to send emails out to everyone every day if you don't want it, but there have been a lot of people that have signed up for that. And so one of the best ways to do that, even if you're not an insider right now, is to go to escapeadulthood.com/coffee. That's our main show page right now, and it has all of our episodes on it, and it has an opportunity to sign up to get updates when we go live and when a new show comes out.
I don't know about you, but all the live casts, it's getting confusing, right? Like, oh, that one was on Instagram and you can't watch it now. It was only live then. And what about this one? That one's on Facebook. That one's on YouTube. So we're just trying to make it easy, because I'm having a hard time keeping up with all the stuff I want to watch live and replayed. So hopefully this will make it easy. escapeadulthood.com/coffee. You can sign up for receiving notifications there if you'd like.
Yes. So that's all we have.
Yeah, the kids are in the wings. They kind of have some stuff. Come on over, guys. They have been busy. What are you up to? There's Ben. What'd you make, bud?
A detective.
A detective.
Detective. What made you
do
a detective today?
Nice there.
I don't know.
Hey, he's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Cool hair. I like that. Kind of looks like your hair. Marilyn Loveland says, "Great shirt, Ben." Oh, that's cool. What do you have, Luce? Anything?
No.
No, she's still working on her socks. So you're still knitting your socks. You want to show me your fuzzy pen? Fuzzy pen. Can't beat that.
That's another thing you could control in this dark time, is to get yourself a fuzzy pen.
If you want to know how to make pom-poms, just send me a private message.
It's going to be up to our eyeballs in pom-poms by the end of this.
It's all Tara's fault if she's still here. You got me addicted now, girl. So, and I also have to put a shout out, because Thursday's show, we're really getting excited about producing the show, I have to tell you, because we have a lot of really cool friends. Is that a nice way to put it? Like we do. So Thursday we're having the Bubble Man on, and he's going to talk to us about the possibilities that we have in our life and how we can just, anything is possible.
Yes.
So
it's gonna be, we got some good stuff.
We will
planned,
hype that all week long, because that's going to be a good one. So anything else, guys? No? All right.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. Spread the word. We'll be back here tomorrow, 3 o'clock Central. Hope to see you.